Hey there, this is the Transguy again, and this is the second segment I'm putting out. Uh, no one watched the first one too much, so maybe we can do better this time. And my guest today is Bruce Jenner. Clearly, because since he is the media frenzy at the moment, I thought this was probably the best time to include him into our conversations. So, first off, I was 12 years old when this Bruce was in this physical state, and his Wheaties box was by far my favorite. But anyway, so let's real quick. We're gonna talk about the physicality of transgender people and my opinion on how that goes down. Bruce Jenner was the epitome of masculinity, and how many people in the world can be deemed the greatest athlete in the world. Well, clearly he was at that time, and I mean that's a big deal. But here's one thing I want to know: why in God's name, okay, Bruce, if you ever see this, why did you let Chris make you sell the Corvette? This is what I heard. Is it true? Because that's ridiculous. You earned that car, okay, for what what you accomplished, and that sucks. So, I mean, if it's not true, let me know. But this is what I've heard a while back, and I'm like, that's insane. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, okay. So, yeah. So here's the deal. So now, as of let me see. I'm sorry. The viewership on Bruce's segment with Diane Sawyer was 17 million people. That supersedes anything ever, with the exception of sports events. So Bruce, well done. Now, people like myself would love to have a body like this. Okay. Again, the epitome of maleness and masculinity and super athlete. Now, did he feel that his body was perfect then? I'd have to ask him myself, but based on what he's saying now, I would say no. Now, second photo. Okay, all right. I get a little turned on just looking at the photo. So, he basically, I mean, again, totally, sex-filled shot here, and what's going on in his mind? Hard to say. But he was just the hot guy at the time. All right. Now, I came across this one, and as perfect as the body looks, it's the clothing. So, I'm thinking Daisy Duke shorts and a halter top. That's kind of really feminine. That's kind of like, I trying to remember if I ever saw guys then wearing this kind of stuff. If they were probably gay. But anyway, and that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and maybe I was missing. And I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Illinois. We didn't, a little more conservative as far as that kind of crazy stuff might have gone. But anyway. So let's get down to now what I want to talk about. I think that it was very brave of Bruce to go on and do what he's done, and I do feel that because he's now a part of this culture, a part of the transgendered people as we are, because of his celebrity, he can make a difference. He feels, and hopefully, it will, I think he's there's people out there talking about, well, maybe he'll be able to save some lives because, there's a lot of teenage transgendered individuals that think that they're the only ones out there, and, then they kill themselves and stuff like that. But anyway, what I wanted to go over real quick, is a couple of the things that Bruce had talked about, that Diane, that they had gone over. When Diane Sawyer asked Bruce, "Are you a lesbian?" Well, he said no. He basically said no. Now, he said, okay, he's trying to say that, she confused sexual orientation with gender. And it was a good answer. I'm not saying his answer was bad. It wasn't. It's just that I feel he kind of sidestepped that whole thing. Because here's the deal. So, he said that he has the soul of a woman, just as I had always had the soul of a man. So, we're polar opposite, but the same kind of the same exact deal. He said he was always attracted to women, okay, and but see, I was always attracted to women. So Bruce was always attracted to women, and he was with women, but he felt like a woman. All right. So when he transitions completely, and has surgery, and doesn't have a penis anymore, well, he's a woman. And so, if he's attracted to women still, then he's a lesbian, and he doesn't want to say that. And I mean, it's a label, but it's kind of true. So let me tell you the difference between me and Bruce as far as that goes. Like I said, I always felt like a boy from like the age of 6 that I can remember, and and I was always attracted to girls, but at the same time, not really understanding what that was. I mean, I didn't really get that until I was a teenager. I mean, I had boyfriends. I know that's really bizarre. It's bizarre for me to say. I always did, because it didn't really mean anything then. You know what I mean? It's like, it's what society tells you. Well, you're a girl, so you're gonna like boys. So we did. That's just what I did. But when I hit puberty heavily, I mean, I realized that I was attracted to girls, but I never, not one time, ever identified with the lesbian community. Didn't even know what the hell a lesbian was then. But it just wasn't something, it just wasn't going to happen. That's not how I felt. So for me, I had to create an alter ego, and be that male person when I was with girls. And that's what I did. I mean, I never, like I said, identified lesbian, never went to clubs and that kind of crap. That wasn't my scene. And that's not, wasn't the way it was going to go down. And, and I basically, well, I'm going to stop there because the story gets to be too long. But I'm just saying, so Bruce is going to have to either admit that he's a lesbian at some point, if he's still... he's going to be attracted to women once he's all the way transitioned. Or the other thing could happen. And see, I understand why he's saying that now, because he's not any physically different yet, to that extent. After he does have, his bottom surgery, if this is what he's going to do, he may very well all of a sudden be attracted to men. If he's going to feel that much like a woman, then you would think that he would want to be with a man. But and if not, again, like he said, it's your sexual orientation. We're attracted to who we're attracted to. It doesn't make a difference what your gender is. I don't care, and whatever you are, transgendered or biological people. They're all labels: straight, gay, bisexual. Someone once said that everyone's bisexual, and I kind of believe that sometimes, because it's like, we lay too many stigmas on. I mean, a guy can't say another guy's attractive without, no, I must be gay because I think he's attractive. No, you're just, it's a fact. You think this person's good looking or whatever. Well, anyway, getting off track. So anyway, Bruce will have to, sort that out and deal with that in his own time.
Will hormones make a difference for him? Like, you were always attracted to women, but do you think as the hormones change his body, that they might change the way he is attracted to the other sex?
See,
do they play a part in that?
See, I wouldn't think so, because there's guys like me that transition, I mean, all the way, and then they're gay. Then they're still attracted to men. So, and as strong as testosterone is, of course, as much as it changes your body, I don't believe it really changes your brain to the extent where it's going to change your sexual orientation. So that's just something that, only Bruce really knows, and we'll find out later. And at this point in time, he's obviously only been with women because that was it. He was I mean, look at who he is, and look at what he represented, and he held, and he had to hide behind that all this time. So maybe deep-seatedly somewhere, the female in him is totally attracted to men, but he can't go there yet. And I understand that. I totally get that. Just like before I transitioned, my wife, who is obviously a biological female, and she's been straight, and she's straight, of course. She told me before I transitioned, she says, "I love you as you are, and it's okay if you don't change." I'm like, "What, are you out of your mind?" And I told her, I said, I'm not sleeping with you like that. And I just couldn't, I can't do it. I could not be a woman and be with a woman, because that was not a part of my, I couldn't do it, and you're like, well, what the hell are you saying? If you were with a woman before your surgeries? Well, this is true, but there were rules in my camp, and I was able to fool a lot of people. I know you're like, what the hell does that mean? And that's going to have to be another segment, but I actually slept with women, and they had no idea that I wasn't really, a biological man. But that's another story. So anyway, so okay. And the other thing I wanted to go into real quick is, I guess, when Bruce told his children about his what was going on, and sat him down and talked to them. At least as far as his older kids go, I guess they had asked, "Well, what do we call you?" And he said, "Well, Dad, I'm your dad, and I'll always be here," and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of applaud him for that, because I couldn't do that. So that was a really, really difficult thing to deal with when I was transitioning with my kids around me. Because they weren't around me all the time, but well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I would actually get angry with them if they called me mom in public. I would lose my mind, because I'm like, oh God, someone's going to hear you, because I was in the middle of transitioning, so I looked more like a man at that point, and they're calling me mom, and I mean, they were a lot younger then and stuff, and I guess I kind of feel bad about it, but at the same time, I couldn't tolerate it. Even before transitioning, I had a hard time when one of my daughters would come home and said, "Well, here's your invitation to Mother's Day tea." Mother's Day tea. You see, so I could not embrace any of that. I didn't like the Mother's Day cards. I didn't like any of that. And I know that somebody might be going, "Well, that's kind of sad." And I guess it is. And it's not that I don't love my kids. I just cannot. I could not embrace that ever. Whereas Bruce, he's able to say, you're going to call me Dad.
But wait, you couldn't identify with that after you began your transition.
Even before.
When you were a mother and a woman.
No.
You didn't mind being called mother.
Well, they called me mom, but
right.
but when things would come up like the Mother Day tea, and I just would cringe, and like I just even then I couldn't embrace that. Well, that's really nice. That's wonderful. Let's go to the tea. I couldn't. I just never really. I mean, I knew what I was because I was. It was obvious what I physically was to them, but I never was really able to embrace it the way that a mother should be able to embrace that kind of thing, because I just never felt quite right, and it's horrific for me to think about the fact that how they came into the world. I can't. I mean, it seems like a nightmare. It doesn't even seem real.
You can't even say the word.
No,
I gave birth.
I don't see. Why do you have to say that? No, exactly. No, because it's like I feel that it just I don't. Anyway, so I think that's about it for now. And the thing is that if anybody has any questions or any bullshit they want to say to me, like I'm an asshole or something, my email is let's see, it is I forgot if it's it's Hillside 307.
307.
Hillside 307 at gmail.com. And
So say it again.
She wants me to say it again. The camera speaks. Hillside 307 at gmail.com. And any questions, any comments,
any question? No question is off limits?
Anything at all. Nothing's too big or too small.
Okay.
No pun intended there. And And yeah, because you never know. And so I really hope that more people will watch the segment and want to hear more of what I've got to say. And I had said before, I will hope to get my children one by one in this chair. My wife probably first, unless you guys want the kids first. I'm not really sure what to do, but anyway. All right, so anyway, so you guys have a good day, and I'm out.